Hello, 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 and welcome to Connecting Back to Source. I'm the health analytic. I analyze things. So today's topic, we're going to be going over the God diet and vegan diet. What are they? What do I think about them? What are the goods and bads, etc.? So the God diet, for those of you that don't know or haven't really heard about it, is basically non-hybrid foods. It consists of non-hybrid foods. So the things that were created not by man, that that were naturally here by whatever you want to call God or the creator. So things like, apples. We got a little apple right here. Apples, we got apples, other fruits that have seed, and some vegetables. Not all vegetables are non-hybrid. There's a lot of hybrid vegetables, meaning that, that man got one natural thing and another natural thing and made something that wouldn't have happened, with just nature alone. So anyways, we got the vegan diet, and there actually isn't any any bad thing that I've noticed. And I've been doing the non-hybrid diet for, I feel like it's been almost 2 months. I'm not doing it anymore though. I'll explain why later. But yeah, in my time doing that and just eating nothing but a lot of foods that consist of, that contain a lot of water, non-hybrid foods, they all contain a lot of water. I felt really good. My body felt great, but I craved things that were more dry. And I believe mostly it's because the foods that contain a lot of water, once you get so much water inside of you, your body just kind of doesn't want water. And if you get hungry, then you're not going to want to eat something that has, a lot of water in it if you're already, full of water. So, yeah, I'd say the God diet or the non-hybrid diet is definitely the best thing to do if, you want to fast, but you don't just want water. By the way, your body digests water. It has minerals in it, unless you distill it and take everything out of it, and then it's just H2O. But yeah, so whether you're fasting with water or fruit, your body is still digesting. But fruit and water, it doesn't give your body a lot to digest. So fruit and water are definitely ideal for fasting, allowing the body to heal itself, etc. Anyways, vegan diet. The good and bad for vegan diet. Okay, so vegan isn't just vegetables and fruit. I'm going to say that one more time because it took me a while to understand this. Vegan is not just vegetables and fruit. There's a lot of things that are extremely unhealthy that are considered vegan, like soy lecithin, high fructose. You get a lot of things that are extremely processed in the vegan diet, and there's a lot of vegans that get a lot of diseases, and a lot of overweight vegans and all kinds of things. Like vegan doesn't mean healthy. It doesn't mean better. It's just a different option. And if you follow me on Instagram, I my thoughts on life and things like that, and how I feel about how you should just appreciate or be grateful for the life that you take. Because if you want to live, you have to take life. Something has to die so that way you can keep living. Whether it's a plant, which has just as much consciousness as an animal, it just doesn't have a face, and we can't really relate to it as much as we can relate to animals. We can see how they suffer, but you can't see how a plant suffers unless you actually really look into it. Like, plants, they express themselves, but it takes a lot longer for us to see how they express themselves. So if you have that kind of patience, then you'd know, or if you actually look into it, you also know. So I definitely say, if you're interested in learning, or seeing for yourself if plants do have their own type of consciousness, if they are also living things, I don't know. For me, I wouldn't even say it's something to I don't think you really have to think about it. If you eat something and it gives you life, then that means that it had to be alive. But I don't know, look into it. Check for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Anyways, so the vegan diet, and in my opinion, it's just a title. It personally, while I was vegan, I felt very arrogant. I'm not saying the title will do that to you, but it definitely did that to me. I felt like I was the healthiest thing on the planet. I want to be as healthy as I possibly can, and that's why I'm the analytic. I analyze things. Anyways, so my biggest inspiration in health and diet is definitely Jesus. No, I am not religious. No, I don't go to church. No, I'm not trying to preach to you guys. But according to the Bible, this guy never got sick. He never broke a bone. And he's, supposed to be considered the most perfect guy that's walked on the face of this earth. So I looked into his diet, and, I wanted to see exactly what he was eating, what, was the majority of the foods that he decided, he wanted to eat. And how he felt about foods and things like that. And I got 4 scriptures if you guys want to go back and actually look into them. And I'll just briefly talk about what they're talking about. And so I have one on Jesus eating fish. I have one on let's see, he commands his disciples to go out into the town and eat whatever's offered to them. And again, his disciples are supposed to be following him, and they're supposed to be just like him. So if he's telling them to do it, that means he's most likely doing it as well. So eat whatever's offered to you as you heal the sick among them. Let's see. And there's another scripture where he mentions that it's not what goes inside of you that defiles you, but what comes out. And let's see. Oh, also, Jesus ate bread and drunk wine at least once a week. At least once a week. Him and his disciples. And bread and wine, I don't think there are any actual wheat plants that are non-hybrid. From what I've looked into. So, and also wine is a man-made product. It's not something that naturally occurs in nature. So Jesus definitely didn't eat the God food diet or the non-hybrid diet. And I wouldn't really say he was vegan either. I'm not 100% sure on the material that he wore for his sandals, but from what I've heard, he wore leather sandals. I kind of feel that I remember reading about him wearing leather sandals, but again, that's something you could look into. It's not, a topic that I'm really trying to touch on right now, what he was wearing, more so what he was eating. But I feel it's safe to say that he wasn't doing the non-hybrid diet, and he wasn't doing the vegan diet either. Also, one other thing I thought was extremely interesting. There's this thing called a fecal transplant. It's basically where you get one person's bacteria. I'm not going to go too far into detail because it's kind of gross. If you're not interested in health and science and all the fancy details as I am. Fancy. There's nothing fancy about fecal transplants. Oh, man. But anyways, if you're into all the details, you can look it up yourself, but I'll spare the details for everybody else that has a weak stomach. But basically, fecal transplant. You get one person's bacteria. You can say somebody that's extremely healthy, and let's say they're really healthy and they're super happy, and you know, they don't pig out all the time, they're just really healthy, really fit, and then you get their bacteria and you put it, or you transplant it, however you want to do it, into another person's body, and the bacteria acts like a roommate, like a really cool roommate, and they look around and they see how messed up it is, and then they basically make the insides just like the insides of the healthy person. And then the person that might have had eating disorders and all kinds of other diseases and bad habits, they then become just like the happy, healthy person that's fit and everything. Their body starts developing good characteristics and behaviors, and they get better eating habits. They start to crave more healthy foods. All kinds of really interesting things happen with, you know, when you share bacteria with someone that's extremely healthy. And let's see, and then there's a scripture where that talks about how Jesus, he spit in dirt and had a blind man rub it on his eyes, and he was cured of his blindness. And I'm like, whoa. You know, because like I was just looking into this whole, you know, the science behind all of this stuff, and you know, because I don't like to just read stuff and then just believe it. But I like facts. I'm a man of facts. Facts. It sounds like a funny word to say. But anyways, but yeah, he cured it. Jesus was so healthy. His bacteria was so healthy that he was able to cure blindness with his bacteria, with his spit. It's crazy. Anyways, so here's my diet. I'll just show you a little right there. I'm also trying to train my body. I'm working on training my body right now. Bug on my arm. Yeah, I'm training my body right now in a way that doesn't force it to do what I know is right. Because, you know, I'm not the body, I'm the spirit that's inside the body. And I know what's healthy and what's good for my body. I know what's on, or what's in the foods that I'm eating, and, you know, and things like that. But when you treat your body like a parent would treat, or like a really overprotective parent, or big brother, big sister, whatever, would treat the younger brother or the child, then what happens when, you know, your mind or your spirit is just exhausted and tired? Then your body just takes over, and you know, if you don't train your body to do what's right when you're exhausted, then your body's just gonna go nuts. It's gonna do everything that you know it shouldn't be doing. So right now, this is my diet. The green is right there. I have it all in color and whatnot. So I eat mostly non-hybrid foods. And when you're eating a lot of water-based foods, again, you're gonna want something that's dry, so that way you can get more carbs without extra water. You know, so you know, mostly non-hybrid. And then I got corn chips. They're really light. It's not like a heavy thing that would be so hard for my body to digest. It's quick. I can just grab and eat it or whatever. Bread. Let's see. Jesus ate bread. Anyways, I eat meat. I do eat meat now, but I don't eat a lot of meat, and I don't eat meat that takes forever for my body to digest, that takes too much energy to chew through. And yeah, any meat that takes too much energy from me to digest, I prefer not to eat it. That's just me, though. That's my take on it. And junk. I eat very little bit of junk. But right now, that's what my body craves. I'm giving my body what it craves, but at the same time, I'm trying to guide it to help my body understand why I'm trying to get it to eat certain things. And, you know, as I'm doing this, I feel that my body is, you know, like I'll eat like a donut or something, and my body would be like, and then I'm up here like, I told you, like, not like, you know, rubbing it in my own face, but at the same time, I'm like, you know, like eventually my body's gonna get tired of feeling like that, but I have to allow it to make mistakes, so that way, you know, like again, like I said before, when I'm exhausted, when the spirit and the mind is exhausted, the body would, you know, it would want to make the right choices, not because it's being told and forced to make the right choices, but because it had the opportunity to make bad choices and learn from its own mistakes. As weird as that sounds, trust me on this one, it actually works. It's been working for me. That's why my junk food list, or part on the thing, is extremely small now. I used to eat a lot of junk food. But yeah, so training your body I feel is very important. And here goes the scriptures right here. If you want to look into those, what I mentioned earlier, you got Mark 8:22-26. Luke, I'm reading this backwards to you guys, it's going to be forward, but right now I'm just, Luke 24, I believe that's 24, verse 42. Matthew, what does that say? Matthew 15:11 and Luke 10 verse 8. So if you want to look into the scriptures that I went over that talk about Jesus' diet and whatnot. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. The non-hybrid diet, or the God diet, the natural diet, and the vegan diet, and you know, my biggest health diet inspiration, and my diet. Connecting back to source. Thank you for connecting with me today. I'm the Health Analytic. I analyze things.